What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm trying to experiment in different ways that I can display the charts so I can do this TA report on certain groups within the VeVe NFTs. And tonight, we're going to take a look at the Disney items. And then I'll try to share what I can to give you some insight on where we are as far as the pricing progression and where the trend is going. And this is very interesting because within the Disney collection, we're not headed in the same direction on all of these items. As a group, it's all over the place. They are not in lockstep with each other. So we're going to check out which ones are rising, which ones are falling, and which ones are under accumulation. Starting out with a happy whistle. So as we see here, it's pretty clear with a happy whistle that we are in distribution mode. In other words, we had the accumulation phase that comes along here, and then you have the consolidation phase where we bump up, and then you have your big run up where we go into markup, boom. And then after that, you have the whipsaw action up and down as you go into distribution. So overall, you can see that we are still in distribution phase. And it looks like with this momentum, we're going to continue to move downwards with a happy whistle. It's currently just a notch above 600, I think. Now, these prices on the site might be a little bit delayed. We're using my NFT tracker tonight to look at these trends, and I think that we're below 600 actually on a happy whistle. But at any rate, we've got enough data on here that we can see what the general trend is going to be for each one. Next, all together now, and this one is definitely still moving in a downtrend. We had the accumulation period, we had a quick bump of consolidation, and then the markup phase, and you can see it right here that overall, after the whipsaw action, we're in distribution. We had a nice drop here ahead of the Valentine's Day drops and a couple little bump ups right there, but now we're headed below 5,000. So this one is downtrending. All right, moving right along. The next one we have is the Avengers logo, and very nice action. The same thing here. You know, we had this bump up and mark up and then distribution here that didn't last long. You could call all of this consolidation right there. And then there's your, all of this is accumulation. I'm sorry. This is accumulation. There's your consolidation, your markup phase, blow off top, a little bit of whipsaw action, and it held pretty strong, but now we're still in distribution as we are headed below 1,500. Next one up is Bart. Bart Simpson and Homer is kind of looking like we're pretty solid here. So we had this long period here of accumulation. There's your consolidation, blow off top. But notice how it kept strong here and we leveled off, and then we had another blow off top. That's a double top, one and then two, and now we're in distribution right now. And so I would probably bet you that we're going to see prices continue on down. You'll probably be able to pick up this one at a steal. All right, moving right along. The next we have is C3PO. This one is not going for the distribution. This one is so strong. Wow. You know, we had this initial bump up and then a long period of accumulation. There's your consolidation. And then where everything else had a blow off top and then went down into distribution, we saw that this one did get a whipsaw effect, but then way back when, I told you that when we hit this area right here that we were forming what I thought was a bull flag. And so when we connected the dots here, like here's your flagpole, and then we come out here, and I said, hey, you know, when you connect this bottom, and we had rising lows, right here was our first low, and then we came up and we made a higher low, and we were kind of forming this pennant, which did break out. And so since then, we're in an overall uptrend, even though the price is down and we had this crazy peak that happened right here. we're still in an uptrend. So C3PO is doing very, very well. And it's interesting because R2D2 is following the same. So we're going to call this one an overall uptrend. I wouldn't count on getting this one for too much cheaper, but if it does, boy, you'd be lucky to grab one. Next, we have Daisy Duck with the lenticulars, and this is definitely not in an uptrend. We came out the box, came down, had not much of an accumulation phase, and then we had the consolidation markup phase, blow off top, and since then, we're in distribution. So we had this big dip right here, came back up, but look at the overall, still in distribution mode. So here's the trend. If you make a channel there, we're bouncing around within this channel, and it's still in distribution mode. So I would expect that we could probably head back down towards 400, and I'm keeping my eyes on Daisy Duck as I'd like to grab one. Now, Donald and Daisy from the recent drop, not much information here. We did dip down to 17, and now we're up at 18, so it looks like an overall uptrend because this one is just showing some strength, and it's too early to tell what the trend is going to do or when it will settle down into accumulation mode. Donald Duck of the lenticulars. This is definitely in a distribution phase. There's our run up into the markup phase. We did have this peak right here, but overall you can see it. If we make a channel and connect the bottoms, connect the tops, you see it right there. We are in a distribution phase. So currently a little bit above 700. Wouldn't be surprised if we come back down and start pushing towards the 600 area, which would be a pretty good buy. All right. Now let's move to the next one. Elsa's not following any kind of downtrend. This is just amazing right here. So we had the initial coming out of the box here, long period of accumulation, a markup right there. There's consolidation, and then here's the markup phase. But notice, just like we had before, this is an amazing pennant that it formed right there. There it is right there. Okay, so then we kind of messed around here, but then the breakout happened and we ran up right here. So we are still within an overall uptrend, okay, because we have not dipped down below that 3,500. And in fact, I think it's still closer to 4,300. So overall uptrend, looking very strong, like it might bounce around in this area and then work towards that next surge. Next one we have is Goofy. Absolutely in a downtrend. So we had coming out of the box here a little bit of dip. There's our peak, and since then, nothing but distribution. Overall, it's going downwards. I definitely am not going to be picking up one of these. It's out of my price range anyway, but I would look for this one to still settle down for a little while. All right, moving right along, let's look at the hat. So the magic hat, Mickey's magic hat, is looking pretty good. I own one of these. So we had this long period of accumulation, consolidation, blow off top, a little bit of whipsaw action right here up and down, but overall it's just kind of flatlining. So I'm thinking that there could be a chance that we don't go much below 4,000 just because of how horizontal this recent movement is and how the supply is just staying down here at around 1,000. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't think we're going to get any big, huge discount on it because of this channel staying strong right there between 4,000 and 5,000. Keep your eyes on that one. Next, we have Iron Man, which is also showing strength. So we had the accumulation phase. There's your consolidation, markup. And notice how we dipped down, but then what did we do? We formed another bull flag. So when we connect the dots, you've got your pole, you've got an ascending base where the lower, higher lows, and then we come to this point here, and now we're side banding. But notice how we're not going too much farther below, even though we're under 2,500 right now. Overall, it's still in an uptrend. We can't call this one a distribution phase just yet. And it might sail on. You know, this could be an accumulation period right here as we move through this zone. This might be accumulation, waiting for the next phase. It may not be headed into distribution. Next on the list is a jaunty jig. And this is a jaunty downtrend for the Steamboat Mickey collection. Here's your long period of accumulation. There's your consolidation here, peak after your markup, and blow off top. Distribution is happening. There's your whipsaw area where you get whipped around up and down. And overall, we see that overall downtrend going on. So jaunty jig, I own one. It is sitting at about $5.99 right now, last that I checked on the app. And it probably will continue to go down in price until we reverse that trend. So here's Lady in the Tramp. Started out hot and just dipping down. We're at what, 1345, 1350, somewhere around there. Not too much data, so we'll have to wait and watch and see where the trend is going to take us. Next, Mickey Mouse on the lenticulars. This is definitely in distribution phase. We had our consolidation and a quick markup, and overall, you can see it right here, we're headed downwards. So when you connect the dots of the lows and the highs, we're staying, bouncing around in this range. We went above it right there briefly, but we're sitting at what, 580, 590, somewhere around there. And we're not going to be able to call this accumulation until we break out of that top of the channel. All right, next on the list, we have Mini, who is also in the overall distribution phase. Many of the lenticulars. Here was our consolidation. Here's our markup. Blow off top. Not much on the whipsaw action. We did go up and down a little bit. And then as you can see, we're overall still headed down. When we connect the dots here, there's the top of the channel, somewhere around there. Here's the bottom of the channel. And it kind of fits pretty nicely because we're still kind of overall within this parallel descending trading channel. We'll look for this to continue to go down until we break the top of that channel. Next up, we have the partner statue, which is not obeying any type of downtrend. I don't think we can call this distribution. It's looking pretty strong. We had this long accumulation period where it was around $10,000. Accumulation went to consolidation, and then we had a markup phase that just kind of headed on up here close to 50,000, but we're holding strong. So we would say that connecting the highs and the lows, we're still within this channel where I don't see it going below 40,000. Looking pretty strong. It'll probably sail on. We could call this accumulation maybe until we get ready for the next pump. Moving on to the Pizza Planet truck. This one is hard to really call. Here's our long period of accumulation, consolidation bump. There's our markup. A lot of whipsaw action on this one as we went down, but then it kind of fooled us and came back up, and then now it's slumping back down. So I can't call this one just yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens. If we had to draw some parallel lines, we can see some confluence here where we're back down to this low point after the markup, and we're staying within this general channel here between roughly 1,300 and 2,200. All right, next up on the list, Pluto is looking nasty of the lenticulars. Here was our short accumulation, consolidation, quick blast off with the markup phase, and the whipsaw action happened right after that, and it was violent, and overall headed downward. So we're sitting at about 900 or maybe a tick below that. And when we connect the dots there, we definitely have a trading channel going on that we are staying within. So this is a distribution phase. All right, where are we next? We've got R2-D2 that I'm so glad to have because like the partner statue and C3PO, it is not messing around. We had this long accumulation, consolidation bump. Blow off top, a little bit of whipsaw, and I thought it was going to go down, but what did it do? It formed a pennant formation. When we kind of connect the dots here, there's the base, here's the top, here's the flagpole, and sure enough, we came out of that, and we're still moving up. So this is an overall uptrend. Look at the channel here. There's the bottom of the channel. Here's the top. We're bouncing around in between the limits of this channel, looking really good. I don't think we're going to get any significant discount on R2D2 anytime soon, and I am holding on to this one until we probably would be good to hold it through, say, 20,000. It's projected to hit 35,000 at the end of the year, but I'm going to sell it before that ever happens because I plan on rolling that over into crypto and building up gems for buying things on the market. Once the drop system is gone and we go into the queue, we're going to have to play that market to the best of our ability. And selling this R2D2 would be a great way to leverage into other items. And I know some people say, well, don't sell, never sell. Well, you got to sell at some point. And as long as you're selling and picking up other items before they have their markup phase and you're leveraging yourself, sell at any point. You know, I could sell R2D2 at 10,000. It might hit 50,000 later on, but as long as I'm getting a 10x on what I invest the gains in, it doesn't matter. Skateboard, I thought, was not doing so hot, but overall, it's still in an uptrend. Let's just take a look. Long period of accumulation, consolidation bump, markup phase, whipsaw, and I wanted to call it distribution. And it's on the bubble where you could call it a distribution from here as an overall downtrend, or we could kind of connect the dots here and say that this is kind of the bottom of that trading channel. And then here somewhere in this area would be the top. And we're just kind of bouncing up and down in this trading channel. And we'll know if it's in a distribution phase if it violates this line and goes below like 1250. If it doesn't violate that, then I'm going to call this the next accumulation phase, and it's gearing up for the next pop. All right, moving right along. We've got Wally. I'm going to call Wally in an overall uptrend. Here's our accumulation, consolidation bump, slight correction, markup phase, whipsaw action. We got shaken up here, but where did it end up? It ended up holding a nice bottom. So when we connect the dots here, there's the low, and we almost blew below that low right there. And where we're sitting at right now, we're still respecting the bottom of this channel, okay? And so when we connect the dots at the top, we're going to have to call this either still in an uptrend overall or accumulation, because we're just bouncing up and down within this parallel trading channel that has a flat bottom and a flat top. We won't call it a downtrend unless we violate 1,200 gems. All right. What do we have next? In fact, that is the last one. So this concludes our report of the Disney item TA. Let me know what you think of this information, and let me give you a prediction. Let me tell you something, guys. The day is going to come when we are going to be able to get information that will be data converted into candles, okay? And when that happens, let's say if we're using the Ecomi Wiki and we have 1 hour data. Now, within 1 day of trading, let's say if this was an hourly chart, okay, and each dot is an hour. If you know what price that you start at, let's say we opened up here and we close this candle here, you're going to have a green candle like that. And then let's say the next candle, you opened up here and then you traded down there, you would have a red candle. And then let's say on the next one, we continued downward just a little bit. We might have a little candle that looks like that. And then the next one, we go higher. So we get a candle that might look like that. And then, of course, this one would be a green candle. And then the next one, we opened up here and we closed down below. So that would be a red one. Do you see what we are getting here? You see what this is forming? A bar chart. All right. And so when we have candlesticks, we can tell what is going on, and we can start to read these candles and get a better idea of the action. Okay, so there's going to come the day when we're going to be able to pull up TA on NFT items on the VeVe app in the form of candlesticks. We could have a 1 hour chart, a 4 hour chart, a 12-hour chart, a 1-day chart, and looking at the candles, we'll be able to discern what's going on. We might even be able to do fib retracements, the whole 9 yards. And whenever that happens, I'm hopefully going to be the first one on the scene, ready to report the technical analysis and break it down just like we do Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Solana, all of the popular top 100 NFTs. All right, well, that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. Big shout out to all of our international viewers. And thank you for all of the people in the United States who chimed in with what state you are watching from. I think we got a comment from someone in Puerto Rico. ¿Qué pasa, Puerto Rico? We also had Georgia in the house. We have some viewers from Missouri. I know that. I can't remember where else. I know we've got Nolan down in the great state of Texas. Shout out to Nolan. Yay! But let me know what other states you are viewing from. And we are just going to continue to ride this TA and wait to see what happens when MTL comes. And I'm thinking overall, it's not quite time to call a bottom. I'm waiting a couple weeks and being patient as I'm in a hold pattern. All right, well, I'm going to stop talking. That's all I've got for now. Like, comment, subscribe if you have not already, and let's grow this channel. This is Carlton, and I'm out.